This frickin' light has got these weird light strands coming off of it, and I don't know why. I can't fix it, I can't stop it, so it's there, and if you don't like it, tough. Because I've tried to fix it, and I just can't fix it. I don't know what's going on. These lights aren't doing it. Those lights aren't doing it. I don't know why these lights are doing it. So please bear with it and forgive it, because it's driving me nuts and it's pissing me off. Hello everyone and welcome to the final day 12 of 12 days of Step Back with Zach. And in today's video, I want to talk about the team that I think has been the most confusing and strange and kind of weird. The team that's confused me the absolute most in the entire NBA this season, the Houston Rockets. But before continuing, please don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. And please, for the love of God, check out my next video that I posted before this one, because that video has flopped, it's done terribly, and I thought you Knicks fans would be more inclined to watch it. But man, what a disappointment that video has been for me. Worst performing one yet. But anyway, like I said, please don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it very much. Thank you. So, like I just said, the Houston Rockets have easily been the most confusing team for me in the NBA. And why? Fucking, what the fuck off, bitch ass bug. I don't like bugs, man. Anyway, what do I mean by this? Well, for starters, you have a team with that. For starters, you have a team that brought in the best scorer of all time in Kevin Durant, and they are currently sitting with a 17-8 record out west and are good for the 5th seed, which in itself isn't too bad, right? However, I just think that the dynamic of this team at the moment just looks really funky, and it just does not look like it should be working as well as it is. But at the same time, it's also not working that well. I am going to dive into the analytics of this very, very soon. I just want to talk to you guys about my eye test to start. So in my opinion, from what I've seen as of late, especially in that Pelicans game that the Rockets lost, by the way, that Kevin Durant just kind of already looks fed up with Alperen Sengun. Alperen Sengun has decided that he is his team's best player and he always wants the ball in the clutch. Kevin Durant doesn't like it. These two just don't seem like they're on the same page. So that's kind of concerning. However, we'll dive more into that very, very soon. But for now, let's go over some stats. So, like I said, they are 17-8 out west, which has them at the 5th seed. They are 3rd in the NBA in terms of points per game with 121.1. They are also 2nd in the NBA in field goals made per game with 44.4 makes per game, and they are also 5th in terms of field goal percentage. But the crazy thing about this number is that they sit 24th in 3-point field goals made per game, with only 11.8. However, they are 3rd in percentage. That's kind of wild when you think this team makes 44.4 shots per game, and only 11.8 of those are threes. They are also 10th in free throws made, and 8th in free throws attempted. However, where they absolutely shine, and there is no argument here, they lead the NBA in rebounds at 49.1 a game. That is 2.5 more than the 2nd place Detroit Pistons. And this part's crazy. They lead the league in rebounds, like I just said, but they are only 14th in defensive rebounds per game, which must mean that their offensive rebounding is absolutely insane. It really is. They average 16.5 offensive rebounds per game, which from what I can tell, I'm struggling to find it right now, but that is one of the highest offensive rebounding numbers we have seen in a very long time. And that 16.5 is 2 more than the 2nd place team, the Portland Trail Blazers. And because of these crazy offensive rebounding numbers, they sit 2nd in terms of second chance points per game. However, the Houston Rockets turn the ball over far too much. When you have Alperen Sengun, who's averaging 3.4, Kevin Durant, who's averaging 3.2, and Amen Thompson, who's averaging 2.6, that is a recipe for disaster. They average 16.5 turnovers per game, which is only in front of the Portland Trail Blazers. And yes, I'm well aware of the fact, obviously, that the Houston Rockets don't actually have a lead ball handler. They do not have a point guard because Fred VanVleet decided it would be a great idea to tear his fucking ACL in the offseason. That was a joke, by the way. Just to clarify, obviously he didn't choose to do that. It sucks not having Freddie VanVleet out there. I don't know why I called him Freddie, but we can really see what happens when you don't have a true point guard out there or a true playmaker and initiator out there for your team. And they are 28th in turnover percentage. which is just so bad. And they are only 18th in assists. However, they are 7th in both steals and blocks, really showcasing their hustle out there. They sit with the 3rd highest plus-minus per game with 9, meaning they outscore their opponents by 9. They are one of 2 teams, along with the OKC Thunder, to be in top 5 for both offensive and defensive rating, where they sit 4th for offensive rating and 5th for defensive rating, which is kind of crazy. I thought they'd be a little bit better than that. I forgot to mention their true shooting percentage. They are 10th in the league in true shooting. However, again, another thing that I just don't like about this team is the fact they are so fucking slow. And you know whose fault it is? Alperen Şengün. Mate, just you wait, I'm gonna get to you, buddy. But because of you, this team sits 28th in the NBA in terms of pace. They are so fucking slow. And it's whenever Şengün touches the ball, and because he's the main playmaker on this team, that ball sticks. And when he decides he doesn't want to pass it, he takes 27 fucking years to back down his opponent in the post just to fucking miss it. Like I said, we're gonna get there. We're going to get there. And they are actually 3rd in points in the paint at 55.6 per game, which is a great number. Now, these stats do look really good apart from the turnovers and the pace. So it kind of shows that maybe this team is actually better than what their record shows. And do I agree with that? Yeah, for the most part, I certainly do. However, I still have a few issues with this team that we are going to get into shortly. Now, the main reason I wanted to make this video is because my GOAT, not the GOAT, but my GOAT, Kevin Durant, is on this team. Kevin Durant is my favorite player of all time. I first got into watching the NBA because I watched a game between the OKC Thunder and the LA Lakers way back when, I think it was 2014, early 2014 probably, and Kevin Durant just went crazy. I think it was against the Lakers. I don't know. It was definitely the Thunder, though, and Kevin Durant just went absolutely bonkers. And from then, I've just felt attached to him. Wherever he's gone, I've gone. I was a Thunder fan. Yes, I was a Warriors fan. But then after he left the Warriors, I became a Nets fan. And then I was a Suns fan, which was fucking awful. And now I'm a Rockets fan. They're not my favorite team, but I am a fan of the Rockets now because of Kevin Durant. However, something that really drives me bonkers about this Houston Rockets team is the fact that Kevin Durant is currently averaging his 3rd lowest points per game of his career and his 2nd lowest since his very first year in Golden State. Now you can say,
oh, it's because I've got Alperen Şengün.
Who cares? He had Devin Booker in Phoenix. He had James Harden and Kyrie Irving for, albeit for like 5% of the time in Brooklyn. And he played with Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson over there in Golden State. So why he isn't doing more for the Houston Rockets right now is kind of crazy. And it just looks like he's trying to just pass to his teammates. And again, with fucking Alperen Şengün, I'm going to get to you. It's just looked really disappointing to me. I just think he's being too passive. He's not being aggressive enough. That's what passive means, you dickhead. But then we saw yesterday when they played the Denver Nuggets, he decided to remember who he is. He went fucking ape shit on those boys. Against the Denver Nuggets yesterday, he had 31 points on 14 shots. He went 8 for 14 from the field, 5 for 6 from 3, and 10 for 11 from the foul line, for a crazy 82.3% true shooting in that game. And that is a perfect example of what happens when Kevin Durant decides to be aggressive. You know what happened in the other 2 games that they've played against the Denver Nuggets where Alperen Şengün decided to be the first option? They fucking lost. Kevin Durant, please pull your head in. You are Kevin Durant. I know you're 37. Who cares? You're still him, dude. Kevin Durant so far is averaging 25.4 points per game, and like I said, this is the 3rd lowest of his career and 2nd lowest since the 2016-2017 season, along with 4.8 boards and 4 assists. That 4.8 rebounds is the 2nd lowest of his entire career, only beating his rookie season. I guess he doesn't actually need to go and get the rebounds because he's got Steven Adams, he's got Şengün, he's got Thompson. It's a great rebounding team. But like I also said, he does average 3.2 turnovers per game as well, so that's not great, but he's always roughly gotten around there in terms of turnovers per game for his career, so all this in 36.3 minutes per game. Kevin Durant is still efficient as always, 51.5% from the field on 16.9 attempts, which is the lowest since his final year in Brooklyn, where he only played 47 games because that was also the year that he got traded to the Phoenix Suns and got injured, and it's his 2nd lowest overall. But he's also averaging 44.3% from 3 on 4.6 attempts, which is his lowest since the 2012-2013 season where he was back in OKC, and 89.5% from the foul line on 6.7 attempts. So he's so close to 50-40-90 for a total 64.1% true shooting. He has a 120.6 offensive rating, which is his best since his 2020-2021 Nets campaign, where they would have won the finals if he didn't have a big ass foot and step on the line. Oh my god, that game, traumatic for me, man. Traumatic. Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong. He also has a 111 defensive rating, which is his lowest since the 2022-2023 season, so not that long ago. And he has a net rating of 9.6, which is also the highest since that same season, for a plus minus of 7.9. I absolutely love Kevin Durant. He is, like I said, my favorite player of all time, and it's really great to see him in a situation where he could probably contend for a championship. However, there's a few adjustments I still think that the Houston Rockets need to make in order to fully maximize Kevin Durant. Oh, yes! Now we get to a section of the video that I have absolutely been dying to make. Alperen Sengun. Now, before I rip into Sengun, I'm going to give him his credit. He's averaging 23 points per game, which is a career high for him, along with 9.3 boards and 7 assists. And those 7 assists are by far a career high. On career high volume as well, and shooting 49.4% from the field, 32.3% from 3, which is disgusting, and 73% from the free throw line, which is also a career high, along with 1.5 steals and 1 block per contest, which are both career highs. He does get 3.4 turnovers per game, as I mentioned earlier, and also gets 3.6 fouls per game. And because of the fact that Fred VanVleet is not there, he has been a really solid lead playmaker for this Houston Rockets team. He's got a career high 120.2 offensive rating and a 112.1 defensive rating, which is the lowest amongst the starting 5, and a net rating of 8. He does shoot a below league average 56.3% true shooting, which again, for a big man, you should never be below league average true shooting, especially when you are not a good 3-point shooter, Sengun. Now, here's where we get into Sengun. Now, this might just be because of my bias to Kevin Durant that I'm mad at Sengun, but there we go. Now, the Rockets statistically are actually better in terms of scoring when he is off the court, albeit not by much. They are 0.5 points better per 100 possessions when Sengun is on the bench. And opponents are also getting 7 points more per 100 possessions when he is on the court. His defensive rating is a 112.1, which is not bad. However, he benefits greatly playing alongside great defenders like Amen Thompson. Kevin Durant's a really good defender. Steven Adams when he's out there. Tari Eason, Reed Shepherd. He is a product of that. He is not a good defender himself. He's been known for his post touch. However, he is overrated in that aspect, in my opinion. He's shooting 67% at the rim. And when people talk about Sengun, a lot of the time it's the fact that he's got great touch. If he had great touch, he would be shooting at least 75% at the rim, not 67. Oh, sorry, my bad. I just double checked and it's gone up to 68.3. Still not good enough. The dude is shooting way too many jump shots for his own good as well. He has shot more jump shots than any other shot this season, and he is shooting them at a 35.2% clip. Stop shooting jump shots, Sengun. They don't go in. And for being an air 7-footer, he is only making 59.5% of his layups. His layups! And for someone who operates around the rim, that's not good. And you notice that he takes a lot of hook shots as well. He loves that little hook shot. 54.3%. That's the rate he makes them at. He's also shooting 49% from 3 to 10 feet. His efficiency is trash. He's ass. His first game of the season looked so promising, where he had 39, 11, and 7 in a double overtime loss to the reigning champs. However, from then, he's only scored 33 times. Now, just for some little nitpicky things I have about Alperen Sengun, like I was talking about before, you're not the first option of this team. Give the ball to Kevin Durant, dude. Especially in the clutch situations. Whenever you are involved in that, you don't do good. Give the fucking ball to Kevin Durant. He is one of the greatest clutch performers of all time. Sengun, You're not him. You're overrated. I gave you your credit to start, but giving you credit also means giving you criticism. You cannot, at this point in your career, be a team's first option. Stop thinking that you are. And this dude whinges like a little bitch all the fucking time. He whinges more than Luka, and I would know because I watch both the Lakers and the Rockets a lot. An absolutely insane amount of time. And Şengün, after every fucking play, he's whinging. Hands go up. Put your fucking hand down, Şengün! Jesus, man. This dude is a product of the people around him. You're a good playmaker for a center. You're not a good playmaker in general, you're a good playmaker for a center. Seriously, man. Anyway, before I give myself an aneurysm, I'm gonna move on to Amen Thompson. Now, Amen Thompson's averaging a career high 17.5 points per game, along with 7.2 rebounds, 2.7 of those being offensive, and 5.2 dimes, which is also a career high, along with 1.3 steals and 0.6 blocks. Both of those numbers are down from last season, along with 2.6 turnovers per game. He is shooting 49.3% from the field, but he is shooting 17.6% from 3, which is 10% worse than last year. And it's not like he's not getting wide open chances. Teams are leaving him wide open, he's shooting them, and he's missing them. But he does have a much improved free throw He does have a much improved free throw rate this season where he's shooting them at a 79.8% clip, for a total true shooting of 55.2%, which is 5% lower than last year. He also has a 120.6 offensive rating, which is again by far a career high, with a 108.8 defensive rating, for a net rating of 11.8, which is really, really damn good. Now, his defense, though, this year has not looked as impactful as it was last year. Last year, he finished as an all-defensive first-team caliber player. This season, I can see him making the second team, but his overall impact just hasn't seemed to be there. And it's probably because he's a little bit more gassed, because he has to do more on the offensive side of the ball. But he is still a menace. He's still going to chase around people. He's still a really good help side defender. He can bounce. Obviously, this dude's one of the freakiest athletes we've ever seen. He's still going to get his on the defensive side of the ball. And along with that, on offense, he is still an incredible downhill attacker. He puts incredible pressure on the rim, where we know that this dude can fly above anyone and absolutely punch it on them. He currently has 67 total dunk attempts this year, and he's made 65 of them, which is a 97% clip. He's also really good at finding himself open in the dunker because he moves so well off ball. And Şengün, Reed, KD, whoever are really good at throwing that little push alley-oop up to him, and he's really good at finishing it. And because he's so good at being in the dunker spot, he's able to go up and get those offensive rebounds and finish at the rim, where he shoots 75%. And he is shooting a pretty decent 54.2% on his 2-point shots this year. Sorry, 54.7% on his twos this year. Now, going back to his 3-point shooting, he's attempted 49 threes this year, and he's made 9 of them. Actually, that's even worse. He's attempted 51 threes and only made 9 of them. And then his jump shots, he's attempted 149, and he's only made 39, which is 26.2%. So he's really got to figure out that jump shot. But like I said, I think he's going to be so much better when Fred VanVleet comes back. I don't think he's ever going to develop a true jump shot, but he's still super impactful nonetheless. Next, I want to quickly go over some other really key pieces for this Houston Rockets team. Reed Sheppard, absolutely incredible season. He's up 9 points per game from last season, where he's averaging 13 a game, and he's a genuinely great glue guy. The dude plays so much bigger than he is. He's 6'2", but plays like he's 6'7". I did not say those numbers on purpose, by the way. This dude shoots 44.4% from 3 on 6.2 attempts per contest. He's an incredible 3-point shooter. I swear to God, he's so good. The shots that he was making yesterday against the Nuggets, ooh-wee, that shit was crazy. And he averages 1.6 steals per game along with 0.6 blocks. And if we were to round his numbers up to per 36, his points per game jump up to 19, and his steals go to 2.3, and he gets just shy of a block per game. Crazy. Why they aren't starting him, I have no idea. Maybe it's because they just want to bring in some offense off the bench and have him go up against the bench units, but Reed Sheppard's looked incredible this year. He has a 121.6 offensive rating with a 109 defensive rating, which is good for a net rating of 12.6. Great shit from Reed Sheppard. Steven Adams, Kiwi brother. I love Steven Adams. Best offensive rebounder in the entire NBA and one of the best offensive rebounders we have ever seen. He's averaging 4.6 offensive rebounds per contest, along with 8.8 rebounds in general. And if we were to round these to per 36, that's 7.5 offensive rebounds, along with 14.5 rebounds per game in general. So crazy stuff. He's just a massive ass dude. We know that everybody who's played up against him says that motherfucker is so strong. Strongest man in the entire league, and it's probably because of all the goddamn protein he eats. He's just a massive human. He currently has a 120 offensive rating and a 104.3 defensive rating, which is good for a 15.7 net rating. This dude has single-handedly changed the way that teams crash the offensive glass. The Houston Rockets in general have really taken his approach on and everyone is just attacking the offensive glass at every single point. And the Houston Rockets have brought back the double big style. This went out of style for a little while back in the late 2010s to the early 2020s, but we are kind of seeing it come back, and it's because of the Houston Rockets and Steven Adams. Jabari Smith Jr. has also looked really good, averaging a career high 15.5 points per game, and he has absolutely just changed the way that he plays to fit alongside KD. He's an absolutely insane catch and shoot player, and he's incredibly long and is a great defensive presence. He's also an enforcer, one of those players who's not afraid to speak up and get in your face if you have done him wrong or done one of his teammates wrong. 123.2 offensive rating, 111.4 defensive rating, for a net rating of 11.8. Now, Tari Eason is someone who started the season incredibly, another incredible defender on this Houston Rockets team. He shoots 50.9% from 3 so far this season on just under 5 attempts per game. I really hope he comes back soon. Tari Eason's one of my favorite role players in the league. Great defensive presence. He's just insane. Josh Okogie as well was a great and underrated pickup for this Houston Rockets team. He's a great two-way guard. He's a great defender alongside Amen Thompson, where he has a 110.8 defensive rating. Either him or Amen Thompson can be the POA defender on any given night, and most of the time it has been Josh Okogie, just to give Amen Thompson that breather or a little bit more of a rest, because he has more to do on the offensive side of the ball. And he's been starting because of the injuries to this Houston Rockets team. He's a great glue guy, great connective piece, and he's a great plug-in player. You can put him pretty much anywhere, and he's going to do really well. He shoots 42.6% from 3 this year, along with 1.3 steals. I think that this Houston Rockets team has so many X factors when it comes to the NBA playoffs, and I think this can either go really right if all of these players I'm going to mention do really well, or it can go really bad if they kind of struggle in the playoffs. Reed Sheppard. What's he going to do in the playoffs? Steven Adams, is he going to continue to be a beast on the glass? More than likely, yes. And Jabari Smith Jr., what's he going to be able to do? And Amen Thompson. Can Amen Thompson pick up that offense a little bit? Can he stop turning the ball over? Can he find somewhat of a more consistent jump shot? There's so many questions in terms of this Houston Rockets team. It's going to be so interesting to see them in the playoffs. However, that is all from me for this video. If you have any opinions on the Houston Rockets, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. If you agree with any of my takes about the Houston Rockets, let me know. Or if you disagree with them, let me know as well. But as always, I'll see you on the next one.